Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update of the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, February the 27th, 2024. I am going to start with the NASDAQ. I'm here on the 4-hour chart, basically just so I can show this minor fifth wave that remains in process. And so I'm continuing to look at it as an expanding triangle pattern. Now, I do realize that it was brought up by a subscriber that wave 4 does not overlap wave 1. And so the question was like, is that not a rule? Not that I'm aware of. It's that wave 4 can overlap wave 1. But more importantly, what are basically need to be put in place as, I guess, rules for the guidelines of what an expanded diagonal triangle should do is that waves 1, 3, and 5 should form ABC, so three-wave structures, but zigzags. So no flats, but they're all zigzags. But 1, 3, and 5 being a zigzag. 2 and 4 just being ABC. As it turns out, they're basically wave 2 is mostly flat. Wave 4 is a zigzag. So this, the rule of alternation applies between 2 and 4, and 1, 3, and 5 are, well, so far, we're looking for wave 5 to also form an ABC, but they're adhering to those rules. So wave 4 overlapping wave 1, it didn't. It came deeper, but it did not overlap wave 1. And I made that change because I lowered this first wave down. Previously, it was up here. And then that just really did throw off the triangle. I suppose if necessary, because also what did come out and remains as a rule, basically within an impulse or within a 5-wave structure, wave 3 cannot be the shortest wave. Does not necessarily have to be the longest, but it cannot be the shortest. And so that is the primary reason why I brought wave 1 down. Now I understand that what it did is to wave 4. So everything just remains in play for this diagonal triangle. And thus far, it's continuing to adhere to a wave pattern that would be more consistent with the diagonal. Now, what we ended up doing today is we've been in the process of being within minuet wave 5. And the big decision process remained all the way up until today, in my view, as to whether or not this initial climb on NVIDIA's earnings, was that going to be all of wave A of minuet wave 5? Or was it 1, 2, and 3? Because remember, zigzag, so that's a 5, 3, 5. And so within this A wave, we've been looking for 5. So it wasn't necessarily totally clear that I could force it out, but it was much easier to say 1, 2, 3. And we were looking at the 4. Well, the 4 was like just kind of lolling around and not really doing anything. But finally today. So now that I've got that so we can see the count, let me bring this down real quick. And I'll take a look on the hourly chart and you can see how nice it's like a little bit bigger. And then we get this nice drop. And it was the lift. It was the lift off of today's low that helped me label it a 4, except the 1 and 2, because that was the other place that I had a problem. And I'll just kind of open that up again, hourly chart, because you see wave 1, wave 2, they're like back and back. And in total honesty, they're really, to show you that they're like an hour apart, but it's even less time. So, and I thought these are subminuet waves. So I thought, okay, going to allow it, or I'm going to go with it, because it does clear it up. And I left the little arrows on so that you could see where those points are. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then A, B, and it just kind of waffles out here to a 4. So it almost was basically a triangle. We had the A, B, C, D, E. And then it launched, and it was a pretty strong, again, I'm going to take it back down. Let's go look at the 5-minute and kind of come into here. A, B, C, D, E. And it launched, and it did very nicely. So when the triangle is finished, we look for that thrust. It gave a little bit of tiny little hiccup right there. And then, but then it just started and it just continued. So it was a beautiful trade and gave stronger confirmation as the buyers moved back in that, okay, it looks like we're back on track. And now we're putting in wave, it's a sub-minuet, wave 1 of sub-minuet, wave 5 of minuet, wave 5. So, no, let me take all that back. Wow. I just got very much ahead of myself. I am looking for minuet wave A of minute wave 5. Minuet wave A will consist of 5 waves of sub-minuet degree. I am in that sub-minuet wave 5 of minuet wave A of minute wave 5. Sorry for any confusion. I really talked that out way too fast. So again, let me open this up. Subminuet wave 2, subminuet wave 1, subminuet wave 2, 3, 4. We're looking for subminuet wave 5 to complete minuet wave A of, and there's the 4, it's going to sit right there, of the minute 5th wave. So once we reach that level, I'm going to look for another ABC. So this all goes on for a little while now. Most definitely, I believe it goes into March, and the time frame is going to get a little squirrely for a lot of people, but it's not over in my view. So we're just going to continue to count it as such. Okay, so we have that subminuet wave 5. And its relationship on a Fibonacci basis, of course, is to subminuet wave 1. Now, again, that is an area where I had a problem because of the speed and the tightness and everything that was going on at that particular moment, that I thought, oh, it can't be 1, 2. But as it turns out, it actually counts out 3, so divided. 4 worked its way into a triangle, and it is thrusting up and out of the triangle. I would anticipate that the thrust does continue either overnight or tomorrow when the U.S. reopens, because it should come in at the width of the triangle. So we're going to be looking for it to kind of continue to move. Now, what are my levels? My levels are, first of all, 0.618, 1, those are already gone. So let me open it from here so we can see the whole thing. There we got the 1, the 2, the 3, here's the 4, and we're into that 5. It's just not clean, is it? So, dang. Sometimes I go too fast. Go to the 30, come back to the 15. Open this up. Thank you very much. See, we're into here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get a 5 and push. This again could be a very tiny little 4, and then we'll get that 5th wave. And my ultimate goal is that we get this thing above 18,145, I believe it was. Yeah, 145 pretty quickly. Now, the first line in the sand to complete this sub-minuet wave 5 and the minuet wave A is going to be right here, 18,183. And then next up would be 2.618. Because again, as I was saying, the 618 and the 100, they're already exceeded. And I don't leave them on because they're not really providing resistance. And if anything, I'm not sure that they would provide support. I mean, I still have 18,078, but I'm looking for this to get above there. to put in the A wave. So I'm not going to consider 18,078 when this is 18,144. So that is why I took them off, because they actually are not in play in this particular case. I'm looking for something much stronger. So again, even the wave 5 will break into 5 waves. So if I can get 1, 2, so that might just get up there at 65 or 80, wherever that was, as wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and get itself up into here or even higher to put in that A wave. If this energy comes through tomorrow within the markets, then it should not be a problem that we would complete wave A of 5. So again, I'm looking for the continuation and the development thereof. We're sitting still in the mess, in a sideways move. It could easily come back down. So that being the case, I'm going to pull this down to a 5-minute and open it up and look at it. So you got all this little bouncing around in here after the market closed, and it just had that extra hour and it did really basically nothing. So, but if we're going to just take 1, 2, 3, I don't think even this little guy is done yet. But if I had to go, let's just put out some fibs and see what that looks like. If it's just going to do a little 4, well, it's all right in here. We're looking for, and this is like a really inside look in terms of real small count. So if I'm going to be like day trading, I kind of think I want to hold above 17,995. Get itself up to that upper level, that what was at 80, whatever that level was, 85, 90, and to put in a first wave. And then wave 2, then a 3, and a 4, and a 5. Getting it up here, that'll clear all that other, and then I can stick an A wave. So I don't even think we're done with the small little first wave within this sub minuet wave 5. So we're going to be able to count it all out, but you can see how deep down the scale, the time frame I'm going to get all these small, very small waves. So taking it back out to the hourly chart, it still looks pretty good. Looks like we might just even get 3, a little 4. We pump up, get a 5, come back down, go back up in a 3 and a 4 and a 5, end up here, which would be a nice rally, or nice to see the NASDAQ probably put in a 150-point rally. So that means that a lot of stuff they just got to come back and fall in love with and just kind of start to move it. But we shall see. Moving averages, everything is all congested on our smaller time frames, but the market is not. It's kind of neutral right now. In terms of it's not overbought, it's definitely not oversold. It's pretty neutral. So I would think we should not have too many problems in continuing the rally. Over in the S&P, it basically is exactly the same count, where there is minute wave 4, and then we started in minute wave 5. Same deal, looking at a expanding diagonal. And so therefore, this is going to be well, we don't have the A wave in yet, but an ABC going up. And right now, we are still within the minute A wave. So it's minuet wave A. Wow. I confuse myself pretty easily, and I apologize for all of that. I am looking for minuet wave 5, subminuet wave 5 of minuet wave A of minute wave 5. When you start getting down there, just keeping track, I'm looking for 5 of A of 5. How about that? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. This is actually a cleaner track back down, but it's a 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, put in the 4. The launch was actually also very nice. Let me go back to the 15-minute chart. Let's open it up. Let's open it up again. It was very nice. 1, 2, 3. It could be 1, 2, and then some internals. This is a 3, a small 4. We get a 5. We have 5,095. Is some resistance. Let me go take a peek of what. That is for the minute degree, so I should probably take that off. Here we have a little bit different because this one's already been exceeded. So hold on. Let's get that out of the way so it's not presenting any confusion. I'm taking both of those off. So because we're much higher than that. That was for the minute 5. So inside here we have 100%, where, because again, this was not all that big, that subminuet wave 5 would be 100% of wave 1 at 5105. I'm looking, though, for it to get itself above 5124. Well, 5129 is 1.618, and that would work. We might put it a little bit higher. The next level up would be 5168, but then we're into this. But that again, these outsides are for the total subminuet wave 5 for wave A. For minuet wave A. If we start getting up into here, it definitely could. And then we'd be looking for a deeper B wave and then the C wave. And then it throws all of our calculations way up once we're into that final stages. So my first thoughts are that we get up to like 5129, 5130. Put this in, put the wave A, the minuet wave A, and then come back down into wave B. Wave B, again, we're going to be looking for 50 to 62% coming back off to put in the B wave, and then for it to rally in the C wave of 5, of minute wave 5. And then that should hopefully complete the entire deal. Again, this is going to take a little bit longer, so we're definitely going to be out into March with all of this. And same deal here in the S&P as in the NASDAQ. At this stage, I would not be looking for the market to begin to really back off of this. This is pretty, it was a nice rally, actually. And so I would not be looking for it to come, maybe back down to here, like you give it a 50%. But that's a little deep. That would be a little deep. And I definitively don't want to see it below 50, 75, 76. Then it's starting to break down, and then we're still within likely this corrective phase. So all hope is not lost. It's just like, wow, I thought you guys were finished with it today. No, you're not, etc. That's not the case just yet. All right, this is where I'm going to leave it. We're still booking to try to get it up there. Our next update. Let me check first. What do we have for any numbers? On Wednesday, we have the GDP, the first reading for the fourth quarter. And that's really it, because along with that comes advanced U.S. trade balance and goods, retail inventories, and wholesale inventories all in advance. And those are all for January, so we got those. And then we got a bunch of Fed people out from 12 noon to 12:45 p.m. all Eastern. They're out stumping and starting to talk. And so that's it for tomorrow. And our next update will be on Wednesday, February the 28th.